All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please stand. Let me do it.
All right. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we roll call, please?
Chair John Cornell,
Present.
Vice Chair Matthew Johnston,
present.
Commissioner Clark Kramer,
Present.
Commissioner Gerald Abramson,
Here.
Commissioner Bruce Martin,
Here.
Commissioner Richard Wyek,
Here.
thank you, and Commissioner Mark McCamish.
Present.
And for the record, Commissioners Steve Tannehill and Sean Colvin have been excused from this meeting, but you do have a quorum with 7 commissioners in attendance.
Thank you. We have the agenda review. Yeah.
Yes, Chair, on agenda review, we have just one item to note on item 7C, that we received 2 public comments that have been shared both with the commission and will be posted on our website post the meeting with the overall documents that we post. Again, that's the receive and file regarding solicitation for letters of interest, development parcels at Camarillo Airport. And that's it.
All right. Thank you. And can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the July meeting?
McCamish.
Seconded, Kramer. Thank you. Get a roll call.
Chair Cornell,
I'll abstain.
thank you. Vice Chair Johnston,
Approve.
Commissioner Kramer,
Yes.
Commissioner Abramson,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Wyek,
Approved.
Commissioner McCamish.
Approved.
That motion passes unanimously 6-0 with 1 abstention by Chair Cornell.
Yep. We have a public comment.
I will take this opportunity to read an announcement for members of the public. To members of the public who wish to address the commission tonight with live public comments on any agenda item, please visit airports.venturacounty.gov/meeting-calendar for participation instructions, streaming links, meeting IDs, and passcodes. In-person speakers will be called upon first, followed by remote participants. Speakers will be called to speak after the agenda item is presented. For in-person public comment, please fill out a speaker card and submit it to the secretary before the end of the public comment period. For remote participants via Zoom or telephone, please accept the prompt to be promoted to speaker and unmute your mic when it is your turn to speak. The general public comment period for non-agenda items is limited to 3 minutes per speaker unless the time allotment is increased or decreased by the chair, depending on the number of speakers. For public comments related to an agenda item, members of the public are allotted 3 minutes per speaker per listed agenda item at a single meeting, unless the time allotment is increased or decreased by the chair, depending on the number of speakers. Please use your allotted time accordingly. And we have 1 speaker, 7C. Then we have no public comments.
Thank you. We have 4 items on our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept these as written?
So moved, McCamish.
Second.
Second, Matt.
Thank you. We have a roll call.
Chair Cornell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnston,
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer,
Yes.
Commissioner Abramson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Wyek,
Yes.
Commissioner McCamish.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 7-0.
And on to the regular agenda, item A.
Good evening, chairs, commission members, Aaron Powers, uh, with a new title this evening, Deputy Director of Business and Administration. Happy to be here tonight to present this item, which is we are providing a presentation on the Part 150 airport noise studies for Camarillo and Oxnard airports. So perfect. Tonight, the presentation is going to be brief, but we're going to cover three areas. First is going to be the study progress to date. Next, an update on the last meetings that we just recently held in August. And then we're going to conclude the presentation with next steps on where we're taking these studies. So looking at the study progress, it's amazing to think that we're actually nearing the 3-year mark. So we kicked this off in October of 2022. We're coming up upon that almost now. And something to note is that each Part 150 study is really comprised of two parts. The first part of the study is focused on the noise exposure maps, or the NEMs. And then the second half of the study is focused on the noise compatibility plan, or the NCPs. And so throughout that process, we've developed the materials, held public meetings, and coordinated accepted comments, and moved each of those forward. In December of 2023, we actually submitted the first part of the study documents, the NEMs, after concluding that process to the FAA for acceptance. And then we were able to, in 2024, kick off and move forward the second half of the study while we were waiting for FAA approval on the first part. And we kicked that off in June with community listening sessions. We held a third public workshop on the actual chapters of the noise compatibility plan. And then during that process in June of 2025, it took a little time. The FAA got back to us and let us know that they had accepted our documents for the first part of the study. So our noise exposure maps had been accepted, and that part of the study was finalized. We then, in August of 2025, held a public hearing, which is our final public meeting. If you could go to the next slide, please. And really, this is a slide about our meeting updates. So in August, we held our final noise study meetings for Camarillo that occurred on August 4th. We had approximately 45 attendees. During that meeting, we included a brief update, not only an overview of how we got there and what our next steps would be. We also included an update on the Camarillo approach and procedure analysis study, which is found in the noise compatibility plan as one of the recommendations that was made by the study. We initiated that early, and we we were sharing some information at the meeting. Something to note, though, is that we are going to have our first public meeting for the approach and procedures analysis study October 7th. So that's going to come up pretty quick. And for the Oxnard Part 150 noise study public hearing, that was held on August 5th, and we had approximately 15 attendees. The focus of these meetings, because the first half of the study was complete, was focused on the noise compatibility plan. And leading up to that public hearing, we had actually opened a public comment period in July, and specifically July 3rd, and that was going to run through the meeting, which any testimony taken at the public hearing was included as public comments. And then we continued to receive any written comments through August 19th. I think we can go to the. And so really that brings us to where we are today on next steps. We are currently developing written responses to all the comments that we may have received during the public comment period. And that is going to be the responses are going to be included in an appendix that will answer the comments that we received and will be included in the final study document. We will then we will finalize the study and bring that forward first to the commission and the airport authority, onto the Board of Supervisors, and I apologize, our advisory boards, that we're expecting that to be in the November or December timeframe. We're going to be working through those written responses and just continuing to march forward. So that may be November or December coming up pretty quick, actually. After that, it will be the Board of Supervisors. We're expecting this to be after the new year because we're going to be hitting those holidays. So likely the earliest would be in January when the board is back after the first of the new year. And then after board approval, should we receive it, we would then submit the full study to the NCP to the FAA for their review and comment. We don't have a timeline for how long that can take. The process sometimes with the FAA, especially with some of the staffing issues that they've had since the beginning of this year, could draw things out. But no matter what, each of these studies were funded by federal grants. And so we're obligated, we'll actually reach grant expiration in August of 2026. And so we'll be submitting the closeout paperwork because we would have done everything we could, which is short of addressing any comments the FAA may have on the plan. And then our job after that, once we have acceptance, is just to make sure that the elements recommended in the noise compatibility plan, that we keep that one of our priorities as we move forward into the future. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Right? Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Chair Cornell, for the record, there are no public comments on 7A.
Thank you. Moving on to 7B, the Camarillo Airport Beacon Tower installation.
Good evening, Chair and Commission. My name is Susan Beck. I am a new face. I've been with the department for a little over a year now. And just so you know, my background is I'm a civil engineer. I've been doing project management for several public agencies in the past, and I'm happy to be here. So for the Beacon project, we're erecting a new beacon tower over by the existing electrical building. It's tilt down so that our staff can go ahead and maintain it much more easily. Currently, the beacon is on top of the water tower, and so it's a little hard to get to. The total cost is $350,444. It is being managed by GSA right now. And we're very happy to have them assist us with that project. The project started about July 10th, and we're expected to finish around Halloween, October 31st. So you can see here the tower is in the halfway tilt down position. Turns out that the manufacturer accidentally put the wrong amount of cable on the tower. So we're waiting for the materials to come so we can have it tilt down fully, and then we can attach the beacon and it should be operational. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Question.
I'm just curious, what's the elevation of the tower?
So it's about 75 feet tall.
How does that compare with the one in the water tower?
Actually, I am not sure. I think it's about the same. Sorry. Institutional knowledge.
It's true. I've been around a long time here. So the current water tower where the beacon is placed is about 134 feet tall. So for us, we're actually pretty excited about this change because you can imagine that if you need to maintain the beacon, it's quite a climb and it's, presents training and safety elements that we will be able to avoid when we are dealing with a tilt down tower.
Anybody else?
A question for you. So I know that the previous beacon, like it was high enough and kind of to some houses, right? So it kind of,
Mhm.
like, some people had a really good view of the beacon,
Yes.
better than maybe they wanted. So on this one, is there going to be a similar situation, or is this
So-
kind of mitigated because of the height and the location?
Our consultant did a lighting study, and so we do have shields to prevent that from happening.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Chair Cornell, for the record, there are no public comments on item 7B.
Thank you.
Just for the record, I'd like to add to that, for those that don't have the history. It was realized about 4 years ago that we county didn't own the water tower. That's what started this whole process. And the new owner wanted to charge us $10,000 a month to keep the beacon up there. So we decided we would go get our own tilt down operation. And as mentioned by Sujin and Aaron, the cost, it's about $5,000 a year just to get the ladder that climbed up there, $5,000 to get that inspected and all the fixes that it needs to. So all of those costs combined, we might as well just build our own, tilt it down when the cable's long enough and just change the light bulb ourselves from the ground. So that's a little bit of last bit of history.
Item 7C for this evening.
Item 7C. As I mentioned, in the initial, agenda review, we received a couple comments on this. So the history is, we about 2 years ago started an airport layout plan update. That's kind of the master plan, if you will, of what we're going to do, at Camarillo Airport. So we're just finishing that up. About a year ago plus, we received a couple letters of interest from a couple businesses on the airport to do some development. And we pretty much put them all on hold and said, hey, we're doing this airport layout plan update. So until we're complete with that, we wouldn't really entertain those. So now that the LP process is completed, we're entertaining those two. And so that's what you see in the packet. The process we must follow as required by the FAA is once we receive some interest in, say, development on the airport, we now have to go out and solicit. That's what this is kind of just advising you we're doing, is solicit competitive interest in those parcels so that a parcel somebody wants to develop, we now go solicit. We might have 1, 2, or 5 interested parties, and we kind of will evaluate if we had multiple parties interested in the parcel. So that's just starting the process. Doesn't mean we have to. We do need to entertain those. It's kind of an expectation of the FAA, who gives us funding to monitor and build and maintain these airports. So that's really where we are right now, is starting that process. Obviously, in particular, we have the parcel location 2, which has, parcel 1, which has hangars adjacent to Air 7, to the east of Air 7. We have about 49 hangars that exist, county hangars. Obviously, those folks will be concerned about this process. We've had this before when we developed hangars. Our expectation is if we move forward with some sort of development and it's not similar existing hangars on that site, then new hangars similar would be accommodated at another location. And even some of the comments you saw what exists there are 30, 40, and 50-year-old hangars. Obviously, there's no way we could replace those and the rents would be the same. So those are some of the concerns that have been voiced. We understand that. But the key for us is if those hangars are displaced, that like hangars are offered somewhere else on the airport, that we're not displacing, new development and we're kicking out existing tenants, would be offered. And of course, they could go on to our waiting list for other hangars and other things, which we did when we built new hangars. Those tenants in those locations at the time were offered first choice into our new hangars that we built on a northeast hangar. So we would expect that those are accommodated. Again, the price issues, I obviously can't make a 40, 50-year-old hangar price available in a new development, but we would do things as best we could to help those tenants that might be relocated. So again, a long ways away from knowing what that is and who is the winning, if there is multiple competitors or interest in those parcels. But that's a process we go through. So again, we start with this letter of interest. We kind of will put out something similar to what you see in the packet. We've got some interest. Here's the size of acreage that's there's an interest in development. And now we're soliciting for competitive interest. And that's kind of the process we follow. So happy to answer questions, concerns, thoughts.
Does, do you have any idea how long this would come about? Take a guess.
So the development process in California, minimum typically, in my experience of 35 years of doing this, is 2 to 3 years. That's the minimum. Now, to make it even more complex, the parcel I talked about, if other than the hangars that are existing needed to happen somewhere else, now you're forcing that development to happen first before we could do something on the proposal that would take the place of those hangars. So now you could be talking 2, 3, 4 years.
So that'd be taken care of first,
Yes, my intent is we have accommodating location, not we stick everybody out on an open tie down for 2 years.
and
No, that is dealt with first, accommodated first before something that's pushing out.
how far would this, I look at it and I go, the EAA is right there. Were they still gonna have a ramp there for that, or?
Yes, at this point, it's not affecting, it's, again, we don't know what the proposal or the winning proposal is, all that would be considering, but nothing that goes as far as EAA. That's a whole nother set of rows farther away.
I was talking with I don't see this as a problem. I see it as a situation. I know a lot of people over there and they belong to EAA, and it's more of a community than it is just a bunch of guys with hangers.
Yeah, our biggest challenge, as I mentioned, is those hangars are 30, 40, 50 years old.
I understand, yeah.
They're in that grouping, we have somewhere about 15 hangars that we can't even rent. They're so corroded and rusted out. Our permitting in the county won't allow us to fix them because that's a whole separate process that we basically have to build new, but you can't really build a new one in the middle of all the rest. So it's a complicated thing.
It'd be nice if they heard, I read your letter and stuff, and I know they were offered other hangars a while back from that area.
Yeah, I mean,
But they still didn't get the message that something was going to happen before that was taken away from them.
It's human nature. I mean, that's normal, and they're more expensive and those things happen. So we
The
understand.
expense really I didn't get a lot of things from the expense. It just happened to be the area and the way it was situated. So.
They're close to the run up and the approach into the runway.
You got it.
And as you mentioned, the camaraderie is a big item for most. We understand all of those things. So
Thank you.
we will work as best we can to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Keith, I think you outlined it well. I think the approach seems reasonable. Understand that when new hangars are built, it's hard to charge, the same as it would be for the others. Yet you've got some that have been there for a decade or more. And I'm just wondering if you can think through if there's a grandfathering or other types of things, because it is a substantial upcharge for someone that's, just scraping by trying to, fly their experimental thing that they haven't built, et cetera. So it's a big shock. It's almost like, some of the fires that came through and people lost homes, and then when they put them up, they get taxed at a different tax base. it's, it just doesn't seem fair. So if there's something we can do from that and think through it on those that have been there for a while, and some kind of grandfathering clause that allows the expense to be modified for a period of time might be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
I have one question, trying to follow this. Has this determination been made what size hangar they are? I mean, are there gonna be more for GA airplanes or for mid-sized corporate airplanes or to be determined?
Yeah, no, there's no question that what is there, if it needs to be displaced, we would be looking for similar size. And it's kind of, we would also look at, because we have, and I just talked with our lease manager, Madeline, about this. We've got 1,000 square foot, 1,100 square foot, 13, 15, all the way up to 2,600 square feet, and a wait list for across the board of all of those. So all of those would be looked at to be assessed. Our first priority is keeping the tenants that we have in like-sized hangars, so accommodating those. But we also have other demand at the airport that really isn't accommodated. Small businesses, mechanic, flight schools that need small office space and, a box hangar kind of thing. That's a space that has not really been fulfilled at the airport. So all of those would be kind of assessed. We would push that in the development. Unlike some of these other areas where it's just an open aviation, if that group is being displaced, we would force or dictate the development, what it looks like at that other location for the offset.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else? No? All right. I know we have a,
Yeah, and the last piece I'll say, again, this will be a very lengthy process. We would start with, the letter of interest, and then you'd see through this body, hey, we've got these letter of interest. We're going to go through the process, whittle those down all the way through a lease and all of those. So it's a lengthy process on our side as well.
okay. Thank you. And then I know we have a comment from Mr. Mark Sullivan.
Good evening, gentlemen. Mark Sullivan. As we say in the Navy, I guess I'm the plank owner in Area 1. I've been renting continuously at this airport since 1984, and I think was the first tenant in Hangar 237 in 1987, the very first one in that group. And I've been there continuously since 1987. Had 2 hangars, now I have just one, and put 3 sons into the airlines through it. One's at Boeing and 2 are flying airlines. My comments are, well, first of all, the community comment is huge. That is a community there. And Jerry's comment about Young Eagles is extremely important. One of my biggest concerns is that if this is developed as a jet, an appendage, and another jet operator, there's already a significant issue in that block of hangars and at the EAA with people running, their Gulfstreams for an hour without their APUs. The fumes are unbelievable. I think there's actually an AQMD issue with that, to be very honest. So if a jet developer goes in there, something's going to have to be done to protect the EAA people, because that is a community event every month, from being exposed to those fumes. Now, my biggest concern right now, financially, is that the 15 allegedly unrepairable hangars. One of mine was allegedly one of those. Yes, they need some repair. I've just been through this with buildings. They don't permit these hangars. So there is no lack of a permit. From everybody I know that knows these hangars, wouldn't be very expensive to repair them, at least to make them rentable. We're talking 2 or 3 years. That's significant revenue that's being foregone. I think it's kind of a no-brainer to, repair those and get the rent out of them where the project is going. If I'm wrong on there being a permit issue, I stand to be corrected. But my last dealing with buildings is they would not permit a structure that was mobile. They didn't want to touch it. The point about the hangars having been offered a space in the northeast hangar, Aaron, of all people, will remember this. The main objective with the northeast hangar development was not to upgrade old hangars at the airport. The number one objective always, always, always was reduce the wait list, and it's done a good job at reducing the wait list. You know, obviously, I've heard people say, well, you didn't take a hangar in the Northeast development. Too bad, so sad. Well, that's a fallacy, because the issue was to reduce the wait list, not to move, Area 1 over to the new hangars. So I'm glad to hear that Keith is saying that a prime objective will be to replace the hangars. I would remind the commission, as I'm sure you all know, under the FAA grant assurances, but in our case, even more fundamentally, under the deed that the county got from GSA in 1977, in extremely explicit language, it says that the airport cannot discriminate against any type or class of aviation. And those of us that are in the single engine piston aviation community are definitely a class. And there's a great feeling that we're going to be squeezed out by the high roller jet side. And we don't want to see that happen. And we think that would violate actually the grant assurances were that happens. So I'm extremely pleased to hear that we're going to be giving priority to replacing the hangars. I understand that if the county puts out money to build a new hangar, there's got to be some kind of recovery. The only thing I would add is that if you're building hangars to accommodate 50, 60, $70 million global expresses, you probably can tap those renters, to get some kind of a subsidy or some kind of help to reduce the rent. My final comment is that
Chair Cornell, we are running over time.
Sorry, okay. I can't stress enough the importance of community and the Young Eagles. That is a community there. And if they were to build a jet center there, that, real attention has to be made on allowing that space in the apron for the Young Eagles and paying attention to the fumes issue. In fact, I would submit to the commission that they had wings over Camarillo. Anybody who was there will remember on Sunday at about 3:30, somebody hit their APU and had it going for 2 hours, to the point that everybody cleared out of the front line because the fumes, you couldn't breathe. That we really need to have an airport policy on that, to provide ground power or whatever, so you don't have long-term idling of turbines, because they do put out a tremendous amount of emissions. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Sullivan. Thank you.
There are no further comments on this item.
Thank you. Item 7D.
Bunch of noise as I make my entrance again. Aaron Powers, here for the next item, 7D. This is for approval. I'm sorry. Of the an authorization for the Director of Airports to enter and sign into a consulting services contract with Nina and Moore. This is related to the PFAS at Oxnard Airport. And and the amount of the contract is approximately $130,000. If we can go to the next slide. In 2019, you may recall, for some of you that have been on this commission, and for the new members, the Department of Airports was informed by the State Water Board that that by order of the state, that Part 139 airports, so in this case, Oxnard Airport, was subject to orders to perform investigation related to PFAS, which if it's polyfluoroalkyl substances. So I'm going to just call it PFAS if that's all right with you. And this is a family of chemicals that is found in the firefighting foam that the airport was mandated to use by the FAA. So there was one firefighting foam that was approved by the FAA, and unfortunately for us and any commercial airport across the United States, it contained PFAS. And so since 2019, we have been in a series of work plan development and then implementation or investigation of the work plan. And really what this is sort of a continuing cycle of delineation We start with certain locations where we used to annually test the foam as we were mandated to test. And we're sort of trying to delineate the limits of where PFAS is found. So we're closely coordinating with the water board, and this is just another contract in the series of the investigation. You know, we mainly put this on the regular agenda because we want to, you know, even though this has been ongoing for years, we just want to make sure that that folks are aware that this is something that we continue to participate in and investigate. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions related to this contract.
Question, anybody?
All right. Thank you.
There are no public comments on this item.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to approve item 7D as written?
I'll approve that motion.
Give me a second.
I'll second. Bruce,
Thank you. And may we have a roll call, please?
Chair Cornell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnston,
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer,
Yes.
Commissioner Abramson,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Wyack,
Yes.
Commissioner McCamish.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously 7-0.
Thank you. And the director's report this evening.
All right. Happy to share, I think we have a photo of Heart Aerospace. This is the entity that I think I shared previously. Swedish-based company that recently relocated their headquarters to Irvine, California. They are in the electric engine, large electric engine, 70 passenger size engine. Again, headquarters in Irvine, but needed a place to do some testing. So we just signed a lease with them for about 6 months. They have about 100 by 100 area on the old Oxnard terminal ramp to do engine testing. So they started that a couple of weeks ago at Oxnard Airport. Kind of in the mode of advanced air mobility that we're trying to encourage specifically at Oxnard Airport. So you see that area. And recently, with the August fire, I think it was August 7th that it started, in Ventura County, the Canyon Fire. We recently had a helicopter come from the LA region to kind of stage in preparation. So once again, Camarillo was significant for fires in the county. Kind of happy to report that not only backup units, but our own sheriff and fire air units for the county knocked that fire down in the first couple of days and had it 91% contained within about 4 days. And it was 100% contained within 7 days. They did a fabulous job. Air show, as you know, we had August 17th and 18th. The preliminary numbers, I think we had about 17,000 people attend over the 2-day event. Very excellent 2-day event. The Air Boss did a fabulous job, and I think they're going to make an appearance in the next couple of meetings to give you a final debrief. But he did a fabulous job of tweaking the air show event, particularly on Saturday when the weather was kind of overcast for the first hour or so, making some adjustments. So I had a lot of great feedback from the community. Want to report that we had 0 noise complaints over the 2 days event. Very happy to report that. Jeanette from our office did a fabulous job of getting the word out in advance to our neighbors, which is very helpful. And I even got tricked into, I think there's a picture, the flight simulator for Pivotal there, trying to get me sick with those 3D goggles. Those are pretty tricky things. You whip your head around and you can get, out of sorts pretty quick, but very neat. And if you saw that on Saturday, they did a demo with electric single person aircraft. Pretty cool thing. Next item, clear the shelters. Again, the animal shelter for the county is here at the airport, lease space from the Department of Airports on August 23rd. They had to clear the shelter event 68 animals found homes, which in perspective, that's a week's worth of adoptions in a single day. So they had a good day. Wanted to report that. Aaron's done a fabulous job as well as Congresswoman Brownlee's office. We recently were awarded a $3.5 million grant. This is basically back paying us for the final work we did on the taxiway Foxtrot at the Oxnard, the final paving project we did there. So we kind of upfronted the money. No guarantees we were going to get reimbursed, and we did. So that's in the final works, $3.5 million. We just received notice from Commander of Air Force that B-17 is coming again here September 17th through 29th. Public tours and rides available. So if you're interested, please go to their website. Just an item of notice, we received a request from the Sheriff's Academy. They need a large paved space, which they had used previously at Camarillo Airport, the abandoned portion of the runway here to do some high-speed vehicle training. We're reassessing that. They had not done it for many years. They've come back and asked to do it basically 2 weeks a year. We're going to work with our engineering aviation consultants to see if that would even be allowed with the FAA at this point with current standards, and also do an internal assessment if that's really what we want to allow. But we're at least looking at it, and they've made the request. And last, just a FYI, our public members for the airport authorities, Camarillo Airport Authority and Oxnard Airport Authority, their terms expire in March of 26. So in the next month or so, you'll see an announcement if anybody's interested. There's an application process to go through. Currently, we have Barb Filkins filling for Oxnard Airport and Scott Fair for Camarillo Airport, and their terms expire February 28th, 2026. And that's all I have, you gentlemen, tonight, unless there's any specific questions. I do want to add, she's not here tonight, but we do have a new management assistant, Lizette Kennel, that started with us. So you'll probably see her at the next meeting with the team, fabulous team that we have left there. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.
Unless there's any.
That 30-day thing or whatever, that's required.
The 30-day thing.
Giving, A7 30-day notice, they wanted to do lease that area or something, come back.
Oh, again, the solicitation, there's not a specific number of days. 30 days is common for bids that we do in our work. So
This is a requirement that you would have to.
it's a
reply.
requirement that we
Reply.
solicit for competitive interest in something like that.
Okay.
There is some flexibility if it was a small parcel adjacent and there's other places that folks could bid, maybe not, but we want to err on the side of checking all the boxes, and this is the right thing for us to do.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I just want to comment, congratulations on getting Aaron Powers as the deputy director. I think that's a wise choice and really beneficial to the airports.
Yes, we did a good job of tricking her into taking the job. You're welcome. Yes. Shh, don't tell her yet.
Anybody else have any comments this evening? Nope. All right, a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I second it.
We'll adjourn at 7:14 PM.
Thank you.